A North Carolina man who allegedly vowed to shoot up black preschoolers has been caught by the FBI.
The suspect is 25-year-old Zachary Newell. Allegedly said he wanted to injure or kill 20 black children, among other violent and racist threats, in a comment on YouTube. Brian Trader's been following this from the Live Center. Brian?
Yeah, let's show you where this is all happening. It's in Carteret County down to the coast in Newport, North Carolina. According to the FBI, 25-year-old Zachary Newell on August 26th and 27th posted racist, violent comments on YouTube, including one where he said he planned to shoot up a preschool, injuring or killing at least 20 black children. On the 31st, Google reported that to the FBI, and then later that day, deputies in Carteret County confronted Newell, and they say at that point he admitted to making that comment. They executed a search warrant and took him into custody, charging him with a state charge of communicating threats of mass violence to an educational facility. No, he did not specify any particular preschool, and they say that he then posted bond and was released. Later that night, the FBI took Newell back into custody, and now he's facing a federal charge. If convicted, he could face up to 5 years in federal prison.
So, white folks, I need y'all to come directly front and center, and I know what you guys are normally going to say. You're gonna like, but you know, these young kids. How young are we talking? You know, these. I'm not saying it's wrong, not saying it's right, but I'm gonna wait until more evidence, you know, comes out. It seems like a setup, you know, and this, that, and the third. It seems like, you know, the powers that be are trying to, you know, really portray you know, white people as the violent types, and that's not really us. Not saying that it's wrong or that it's right, but you know, he couldn't eat medication. He might, you know, need some type of help. It's, you know, it's not indicative of everything. You know, it's all started back with Obama. Obama's the most divisive you know, person we ever had on the face of this planet. Before he even existed, was born, you know, America and the world was fine. Obama just made it racist just because he was here in his slick suits, nice tailored wear, his nice shoes and his fade, and the way he dances and moves. You know, it's crazy. Back in my day, we didn't do those types of moves. Right? But all jokes aside, white folks, I need y'all to explain to me, right, how right after the Charlie Kirk situation, right after the fact that we found out that it was a white man that took another white man's life, right after the fact that we saw the governor of Utah state that he was hoping for the killer to be anybody else but white, right after we saw Megyn Kelly decide that she wanted to get on whatever, you know, show that she's on, and she wanted to talk about Obama, which has nothing to do with the situation, and right after all of the many of the white folks directly out there that were angry, frustrated, and mad, clearly at themselves, but they wanted to direct it towards other people, right after the fact that we ended up having death threats to HBCUs. Again, black people had nothing to do with the loss of life that dealt with in Utah on that college campus dealing with Charlie Kirk. We didn't have anything to do with that. That was white on white crime. But for some odd reason, this 25-year-old, and I don't know how this is 25. I thought this was somebody's father going into like their 40s. I don't know what type of 25 this is. Maybe this is like an 80s or 70s 25. This is not the 25 of this timeline. I don't know what specifically that is, but for whatever reason, white people, your 25-year-old decided that he wanted to make threats against black kids, and specifically black kids. And I wonder why. I wonder what party he's affiliated with. I wonder what party he's affiliated with in order to make these types of threats, because that's a little bit crazy to me. Actually, let me walk that back. I have heard of things like this happening before. And this is when I told people that history will repeat itself if you choose not to learn and pay attention. This is what it looks like when people want to scrub the books, when they want to stop talking about things that took place during the civil rights movement, during the Black Panther movement, during the MLK and the Malcolm X movements, right? During all of those. This is what happens when you have people that don't want to teach specifically American history, right? The ugly truth. because this right here is a part of that ugly truth. This is a part of that ugly DNA that is woven in the fabric of the United States that can never be unwoven or broken, because it is a part of the fabric. It is down in there. It's more than just dye, right? It's within the atoms. And you can clearly see that from everything that the news anchors stated, or anchor stated. The guy decided to make a YouTube video. How that YouTube video stayed up, and he was preaching hate and preaching about taking the life of children. Diabolical. But shout out to Google for getting that directly to the FBI, and shout out to the FBI for actually doing their job. I want to condemn whoever the local police directly are in that state, in that area. I want to condemn that whole police station. Y'all racist. 1000%. You guys are racist. This dude literally went online, made videos, made posts directly on Facebook talking about he wanted to take the lives of black children. For what reason? What reason? Somebody give me a reason. Let me know. There's no justifiable reason directly out here that nobody can list or give me of. I can give you one. It's not justifiable, but I can give you a reason, which is that he's racist. There's no ifs, ands, there's no buts about it. You're not misconstruing anything that is here. He is 1000% racist, but I promise you, somehow, some way, somebody white is working up and trying to muster some type of point or an opinion in order to try to lessen what it is that he did. They're trying to lighten the load directly on him. Because in certain instances, people would say, but if he was really a threat, then the police would have never, let him go. No, the police let him go because they wanted him to go out there and actually do it. That's why they let him go. And then they were going to be the ones to come out there and always get their man. That's all that was going to happen. They know where he lives. They wanted him to sit up there and go out there and do that. They wanted him to fulfill whatever it is that he was stating. Like I said, that's crazy to me. Why is it that we didn't hear if any guns were found? Why didn't we hear about any searches or a search warrant? Matter of fact, the FBI, like I said, shout out to the FBI for being the only ones that decided that, y'all were letting this man off on bond. Nah. We're going to have to come back with something stronger, and we're going to have to put this dude away in prison for at least some time because of these threats that he made directly online. And now he stated that he just wanted to take lives. Nah. We can't be sitting up there having that. We got you. We're going to keep you in custody because it seems that your local law enforcement that agrees with whatever it is that you're stating, it seems as though they want you to actually go through with it. FBI was like, nah, we're not having this. Not on our watch. Again, shout out to the FBI. Shout out to whoever that group is with the FBI that came directly back through there pretty much within the same day and just got that dude. Shout out to y'all, because if you did not do that, we will be looking and dealing with a whole different situation and or story at this moment in time. And I promise you, the media would have tried to cover it up. I promise you, a variety of people would have tried to give every rhyme and reason on why this happened and all this other type of. I promise you. I swear to goodness, I promise you. I would like to sit up there and say that many lives are more than likely saved. Many lives are more than likely saved because of the quick actions of the FBI. Because that local law enforcement, I don't know if it's a small town, I don't know how it works directly out there, but we obviously see who is on the same page. We can obviously see. You can obviously tell what they are all about. And it's not about saving the kids. It's not doing the best thing and trying to protect the interest of the family, of the children, of the communities directly out there. They are not about any of those things at all. They are for chaos. They are for destruction. They are for the loss of life. Like I said, that's diabolical. And people always pull up to my platform or my live streams to try to say that, yo, Seiji, why are you always focused in on race? Let this be a key example. Why? He was planning on taking a life. He was speaking on taking the life of children in a school, specifically black children. That's some crazy work. You know how much hate you got to have in your heart in order to do something like that, in order to say something like that, in order to try to bring that and speak it into reality. You understand the type of person, the type of hatred that you literally have to have. That's some great. That's beyond. And like I said, the thing that really angers me about this is because I've talked about too many times how kids don't really have protections out there, how a lot of adults seemingly don't care, or at least it's not enough. In this instance, you had enough. You had somewhat of enough that decided to care, and that was the FBI, not the police. It was the FBI, because the police allowed him to bond out. Out of all the times that the police could have decided that, yo, we're going to trump up some type of charges, we're going to fake some charges, we're going to smudge some stuff in order to keep you in here close to indefinitely, they opted not to do that because, again, they do not care. And that shows you who the ops out here really are. That further shows you, for a lot of Black Americans out here, that the police are not for you. They are not for your, they're not here to protect you. They're here to protect the interests of the rich, of the businesses. That's who they're here to protect, to monitor, to watch directly over. When it deals with you, they could care less. Even if it is their job, they could care less. And it shows. So for all of the parents directly out there with their Black American children directly in that area, please give your children a hug. Please give your child a kiss. Because at no moment in time do you know when today is the last day. Because no day is ever promised. At this moment in time, tomorrow is promised. Because the person that was going to try to take that tomorrow away is at least in custody for a certain amount of time. Don't know if it's going to be indefinitely, but at least for a certain amount of time, that person is off the streets and those kids and your families are, in a sense, safe. But then the other thing that you got to think about is if you have other people that decide that they want to copycat, if they want to try to play these types of games. That's the other part. That's the other dangerous part. We got one person out. But whenever you go after a hydra, it multiplies, right? So, like I said, for the parents out there, you got to be very cautious. You got to keep your head directly on a swivel, and you got to pay attention to a lot of the things directly out here on social media. And that's one of the main things that I try to tell a lot of Black American parents directly out here, and just Black American people as well. You got to pay attention to a lot of the stuff out here, even if you don't want to. You got to pay attention to it because you never know what may be happening or, what's happening right next door or close by you. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.